Hello again, everyone. Saka here, and welcome back to another episode of American Truck Simulator. It has been a little bit since we've been in American Truck, but we are here in Fort Collins, and we've got a little bit of a double here. Let's actually take a look at the route that we are running today. So we're going to be heading north up towards Fort Collins, hopping on the 25, and then on the 70. Past Denver, all the way out to the Burlington coat factory out there in Namick. So it's 247 lovely miles. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. We'll see if we've got the pull here in second gear. Too easy for our Volvo. And I've taken a look at the new Freightliner and the Mac and all the cool stuff that has been added in American Truck here recently, and I just don't like the mirror placement in the driver's side. I want to be able to just glance out to the left, and those trucks seem to have an extended mirror off to the left, so not really a fan of that. All good on the left, and I believe this is a one-way street, so we should be clear to use all of the road here. Get that trailer way behind us to a loop and get on our way. So yeah, it has been quite some time since I've done some proper recording in not only American Truck Sim, but any game as far as that's concerned. As you're seeing this, yesterday, I posted a brand new sort of feeler video to see if that's something you're all interested in, called Red Dead Redemption 2. With my old buddy James from the Army. Way back when. We met like 14 years ago, something like that, and we really haven't talked much since the Army. He actually got out before I did, and I did an extra deployment after he ETS'd and got out of the Army. And we've been on Facebook. We saw each other's work. He got into 3D art and whatnot, and I commented on some of his stuff, and when I uploaded some of my 3D art, he commented, and that's really all the interaction we had. And then he had this great idea to, why don't we just do some riffing, MST3K style, old Mystery Science Theater, looking at Red Dead Redemption 2, and just sort of poke a little fun at it. It's an amazing game, don't get me wrong. It's not like it is a terrible game by any stretch of the imagination. What are you doing there, Bus? Are you using the warm-up lane there? Yes, you are. Now, are you going to come over in my lane? Probably. We don't have the get up and go to catch that bus, so more power to him. But that was a pretty fun recording series for us, and if that was something that you'd like to see more of, then leave a comment on that video, and leave a comment on this video while you're at it. Are you still a fan of American Truck? Are you excited for Wyoming? And how about Texas? Seeing SCS's long-term roadmap, Wyoming will be next, and then they're going to work on Texas after that, as really to no one's surprise. Working their way east. Those are the ones that are going to be next up on the docket, slowly and surely making their way across the continental United States. And I believe, I'm not really sure, geography was not one of my strong suits, but I believe the eastern side of Texas will be a pretty good indicator of halfway. Yeah, I think we're clear here. So if you started off in Los Angeles and you drove all the way out to Austin, maybe Dallas or Fort Worth, that'll be halfway across the country. So those are going to be pretty exciting deliveries to do. I don't know if I'll do one on the channel. That seems more of like a streaming sort of drive, where we just hop in a truck and we just go for miles and miles. Not really sure if I want to get into streaming though. I do have a Twitch account, which I haven't used in quite some time. If I did do streaming, I did a YouTube stream of Crusader Kings 2 back when the Holy Fury DLC came out. Didn't get a whole lot of attention though, which, I mean, when you stream, that's to be expected. Everyone sorts by like the number of viewers, or they already have an established creator that they like to see. so they won't tune in to someone who's only streaming for one other person. So it's a tough road to hoe for sure. All right, making a right turn here on the overpass coming up. Are we going to get a clear roll? Nah, of course not. Why would we? Hopefully we don't run into any big detours. Those are always a pain in the side whenever it forces you to go another way. But as long as we're clear to get on the highway here and we're clear to get on 70, it's pretty much a straight shot. I don't think they would lock away Burlington. And it looks like the rain has come to an end, so let's get those wipers off. And it turned out to be a nice day. Got those clouds up there rolling in. Now it says 25. I think we can take it faster than 25. Let's keep it at 40. So we got a little bit of a turn here. Yeah, I think we're fine. We'll sort of racing line it. Get out wide, clip the apex, and we can bypass the way station. So already, things are coming up Millhouse. That is what I like to see. Let's hammer down. And 75 miles an hour as we make our way to Denver. Yeah, the truck is going to need some more run-up room here to accelerate up to 75, but I think we can do it. But how are you? Let me know down below how you are faring these days. Did you miss the American truck content, or did you not even realize I was gone? It's one of the things that creators, I guess, that are full-time have to really worry about, is their audience to come back or to be waiting on a video. For me, though, it's I can probably afford to take some breaks. Probably not going to take any breaks anytime soon. I am still milling over what series I would like to do. We're continuing on with American Truck for at least a few more episodes until we get all cities in Colorado discovered. Then I'm going to have a nice sit and just think about what I want to do. Though if you did not see my 1,500 subscriber video that I posted last weekend, I'm thinking about sharing some of my Army stories. I got onto a kick recently, and I think maybe watching or listening to Sabaton had something to deal with it, but just the stories of old World War II veterans and people like that really got me thinking about the stories that I could tell. Well, I wasn't combat, but I did do 2 rounds in Iraq, so a lot of video from those times. Luckily, I was in the Army at a time when cameras were starting to become small enough to carry around with you and not be a hindrance. Had I joined a few years before, your basic camera would have been this big honkin' straight to VHS shoulder mounted thing. But about 2003, I got a Handycam that wrote straight to DVDs, and that was like the new hot technology, writing to 3.5-inch DVD disc. So a lot of footage to share from those deployments, especially the second deployment, when I also got a little photo camera that took some pretty decent video, so I didn't need to lug the DVD camera around. I was able to use a pretty small camera, all things considered. All right, we want 70 east here. So looking forward to that, I want to go chronologically from the initial talks of the recruiter and like my thoughts and what they were offering and what the recruitment process was like, taking the ASVAB, going to MEPS, all that good stuff, and then talking about basic training stories. And then AIT, really nothing much to talk about. I don't think that's going to be a long drawn-out thing. But then once, of course, I get to my permanent duty station, there is a lot to talk about, a lot of people that I met and grew close with, even though they probably shouldn't have. Looking at some of the old footage that I found, just watching him, I'm sitting there thinking, geez, this guy, I don't know if I'd be friends with this guy. And And it's kind of weird. It was a different point in my life. That was, shoot, 17 years ago. So a lot of growing up was done between then and now for sure. But it's interesting to look back on all those times, and I want to share as much as I can with my subscribers, reaching 1,500. That's a pretty big deal. This was actually, American Truck was one of my first regular series. I don't think I built my audience off of American Truck by any stretch of the imagination, but it was the one series that I felt I could do on a regular basis that might draw in some people, and I stuck with it ever since. I think we're well up over 100 episodes now. It's crazy to think about all the simulated driving that we've done across the country together. Oh, 65. I can drive 65. But other than that, yep, had to take a break from YouTube for a bit. Not just trying to not get burned out on it, you know. A lot of series weren't really catching on. It is one of those things, like, I felt like I was putting out all that and not getting anything back. So it's kind of a little demotivator. But what can you do? That's the life of a little YouTuber like myself. And of course, thank you for watching and spending time here on the road with me. And then if you have any ideas for a series, definitely put them in the comments down below. Let me know what you'd like to see. One thing I am excited about going forward is old Electronic Arts lost their exclusivity rights to Star Wars. So looking forward to any possible games coming out that are not going to be Star Wars Battlefront. So, you know, maybe a new Knights of the Old Republic from BioWare or something of that nature might be cool. I know Ubisoft has already said that they're going to work on an open world Star Wars game, which may just very well be Assassin's Creed reskin. Not that, I guess it's a bad thing. I really liked Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Didn't play Valhalla much. I'm not into the Norse life, the Viking life. It wasn't a setting that was appealing to me as Greek and the old Spartan. Like that, being an English major, I got to read a lot of the classics, and reading about the Trojan War and all that good stuff, became a fan of Greek history and mythology. So being able to play that in an Assassin's Creed setting was really cool. Nice, just down to one lane. And away we go, back up to 75. Yeah, I didn't really slow down to 55, but we gave him a wide berth. But looking forward to any new Star Wars games, especially if they're going to be on the role-play side. I can imagine a new, perhaps, flying game, because Squadrons ended up being really good. I played that exclusively in VR, and poof, you can tell that that game was made from the ground up with VR in mind, and ooh, nice, bypass, will do. Excuse me, coming through. So that's 2 way stations we could pass. Very cool. But I did really enjoy Star Wars Squadrons. A lot of people sort of like ragged on it because it wasn't as involved as X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, but of course back then that was the prime of simulation and computer. There weren't that many like casual gamers on PC back then. It was, you know, the games back then were adventure games, Monkey Island and that sort of thing that took some brain power to figure out some of those puzzles. And when you find out what those puzzles actually wanted, it's like, who could have come up with that on their own? I mean, really. And with no internet to give you a walkthrough, that must have been crazy, sharing stories like, hey, did you figure this out? Oh yeah, you have to put the feather in the basket and then flip it over onto the hippopotamus, and then he will swim down and bring the key up to you. It's like, really? Why? That doesn't make any sense. But back then there was a hardcore simulation crowd. And that's definitely the X-Wing versus TIE Fighter crowd that wanted to micro every little system on their starship. And if they can bring something like that again, I think it would do very well. Most of the people who are PC gamers now grew up with gaming as far back as they can remember. So to have them manage systems, I mean, it's something that gamers would be a lot more comfortable with these days. Especially like, you know, your Dark Souls crowd, or, you know, all the people who are, quote, hardcore. So excited to see what is going to come down. I don't know if there's going to be anything ready for E3, if there even is going to be an E3 this year. It is January, and they have until June to come up with something. So we'll see if any new Star Wars games are announced in E3. Pretty exciting. I'm hoping for more Elder Scrolls 6, but you know, that's a long shot. Bethesda is keeping it pretty close to the vest, which after the release of Cyberpunk 2077, I hope developers will take their time, for crying out loud. I did end up getting Cyberpunk 2077 on PC, and I didn't have any game-breaking bugs. Had a lot of the T-posing. Oh, we're gonna have to get off here. Okay. Squeeze me, truck. Gonna be coming in. But I had the classical T-posing, and then a few of the quests were broken by triggers. The trigger that was supposed to bring up the quest just didn't, so I had to do a reload. But no crashes to desktop. Just kind of weird things like weapons going through the pavement, or you know, not being able to pick up things, or just mainly irritating bugs, which are bad enough for sure. I would have been fine if they had delayed it, which, seeing the state of it now, I'm pretty sure everyone would have been happy if they would have delayed it. But that is a debacle that I hope the gaming world does not replicate anytime soon. They say they're going to fix it with patches, but I am not sure. 6 out of 13 discovered there is Burlington, so almost halfway discovered all of the cities here in Colorado. Don't know if we can get a job out of Burlington to go to any new places, but we'll definitely take a look in the job market to see if we can. Clip that curb just a scope. So I'm hoping to have a nice run out of Burlington. We'll see. Almost tired, so probably going to have a sleep or two in the off time. See if we can get a decent run out of Burlington. It may be a night run. I'm hoping not. I'll probably sleep twice, just to be sure it's daytime when we do take the next load. Hey, thank you, buddy. Not often you see the kindness of strangers, but maybe that's the Colorado way. Hey, a guy mowing his grass, that's cool. I like to see more environmental things like that, to see NPCs walking around doing their thing. Those NPCs have a better schedule than the Cyberpunk NPCs. That's a burn, Simmons. All right, here at Namek, or Namek. And thankfully, since we are a double, the parking job is not going to be too difficult on us. Looks like it's right over yonder. Right past the rock. That is a precarious bulldozer. If you work around construction, or you've seen construction sites, is that okay? That just seems a little unsafe to me. Maybe they have like a really low center of gravity, so it takes a Herculean effort to flip those things over. But I don't want that thing rolling into my truck. All right, we going to be good? Are we good? Can I finish? Okay, I'm finished. All right, let's drop the trailer. Nice, quick, easy run. Can't beat that with a poll. 247, 4 hours and 20 minutes. Got 1,500 bucks and 502 experience. Of course, we got all of our perk points, so we don't need to worry too much about our levels anymore. No, not quick job. We want the old freight market here to see if there's anything coming out of Burlington. So we've got Lamar. Hey, we might be able to shoot that one. A harvester to Lamar just down the road. I think I'm up for that. I'll go ahead and set that as the GPS destination. And in the next episode, everyone, we are going to go pick up a harvester. Get into that Farming Sim 2019 mood. But that will do it for me. Like, share, and subscribe if you are so bold. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I will see you in the next American Truck Sim video. Take care.